I used to say in the class to the students that in stable times, so the leaders are rewarded for your experience. However, in discontinuous times, leaders are rewarded for the quality of their inner operating system. Um, so that's it, Irish. That's how I look at the inner system. And I truly believe that in the era of AI, the quality of building your inner system is much more important than how we adapt in the external environment.
There is a theory, there is a practice, and there is a moment when your team looks at you and expects you to know what to do. Today's guest has lived in that moment for years. He has worked across leadership, organizational transformation, and executive education with experience spanning global organizations like GE and Alibaba, and now teaches at HKU Business School. Welcome to another episode of School to Startup, brought to you by Tracxn, a private market intelligence platform that's been supporting the global university ecosystem for over 12 years. Through our university partnerships, we work with institutions driving innovation and entrepreneurship, and this series highlights the academic leaders making that happen. I'm Harish, your host today, and today's guest is Professor Roy Tan, Program Director of Customized Executive Education. He's also a professor of practice in management and strategy. He's also a faculty of business and economics from the University of Hong Kong. Professor Tan, great to have you with us.
Thank you, Irish. Thanks for the invitation. I'm really looking forward to the conversation.
Great. So, for people discovering you for the first time, can you tell us a little bit about your journey?
Thank you. Actually, I have joined the Hong Kong U 2 years ago, and so when I look back, I spent the first part of my career inside the large organization, undergoing the real transformations, including GE and Alibaba, and then I moved into academia at Hong Kong U 2 years ago. So for me, this was not a move away from practice. It was a move, I think, toward connecting the practice with reflection, teaching, and leadership development. So today I work at intersection, strategy, organization, leadership, and executive education. And then there's three themes, especially important to me, that are, I think, number one is how AI reshaping the organization. Number two is how leaders need to evolve their inner operating system. I hope you agree. And number three is how universities, as of today, can better prepare the students, entrepreneurs for a world where the judgment, learning, and human meanings matter even more. So that is my briefing. Back to your questions. Thank you.
Very interesting. We'll be discussing all those things today. One area in your work that I find especially interesting is intergenerational integration. What do people often get wrong about different generations?
Well, I think this is one of my research areas, and I think there's a common challenge is people tend to understand others using their own perspective. But given the environment change a lot, the different generation, they had their own perspective, they had their own ways to understand the world, but also to define themselves. So I think the one side of the line is people create the challenges by using their own perspective to understand each other. But another side is there's a huge opportunity once we can try to be empathy. We can try to understand the different things using the others' perspective rather than our own perspective. So that is how I look at the general challenges and opportunity. Two sides, one perspective. Yeah.
Very interesting. And a phrase that comes up often in your work is inner systems. So, in simple terms, what does that mean?
Well, thank you, Harish, for the great question. Because system actually, absolutely, that is one of the core part of my research and the teaching as well. So I would say today inner system matters much more than the outside as well. And then if you wanted to understand specifically, I would say there are at least four the core systems the leaders need now. So number one is about a sense making system. So the we when I say sense making is about how the leader develop the opportunity and the ability to read reality clearly in uncertainty. So the number two is about the emotional regulation system. That means how the leader develop the ability to stay steady under pressure. So the number three is a judgment system, the ability to decide when the data is incomplete. So there'll be one more. The last one will be a learning system. That means how the individual leader develop the ability to update faster than the environment changes. So I used to say in the class to the students that in stable times, so the leaders are rewarded for your experience. However, in discontinuous times, leaders are rewarded for the quality of their inner operating system. Um, so that's it, Irish. That's how I look at the inner system. And I truly believe that in the era of AI, the quality of building your inner system is much more important than how we adapt in the external environment. And
Amazing. Amazing. You have seen both worlds up close, right? GE and Alibaba. What did each of these experiences teach you?
Well, I think that's another great question. I always, I, uh, I personally, define my movement from industry to academia to Hong Kong U as my lifetime 3.0. So I think so I spent 10 years in GE. I think this is a tremendous learning opportunity for me for the industry era. I had a privilege to work for the one conglomerate GE and to learn and to grow and to develop. So I think in my GE time, I really learned so much about how GE as a global player to develop the system, to build the culture, define the leaders, and then to develop the individual leadership. So this is one thing how I learned, and then I moved to Alibaba. I think Alibaba gave me another lesson, which is in the industrial internet, which is in the internet era, to have the over 6 years working in Alibaba and to help Alibaba to develop their talent system at the corporate level. But I also had over 3 years after I lead overall the corporate university for Alibaba, and I had the second career within Alibaba to move to the e-commerce business division to be the overall leader for organization change and talent development. So I get an opportunity into the core business of Alibaba Group to learn how the e-commerce in the internet era to develop and to build and to fulfill the needs not just for the business but also for the individual consumer. So I would say, in summary, 10 years in GE and to really learn how the industrial conglomerate to develop and build system in a global scale, not just for business, but more important for the organization, for the people, for the talent. And then over 6 years in Alibaba, and to learn in the internet era, how the company like Alibaba to to look at the talent, to look at the culture, to look at the organization, because each GE and Alibaba, they are so unique. I have to say, if I look back, if we try to summarize in the industrial time, everything we do is try to build a system to deliver in the static way. But in the internet time, if there's only one thing matters most, which is about the change, is how we master the organization to equip ourselves with the capability to grasp the change, maximize the value of the change, and so we can perform in the market. And then right now, I personally think of myself is in the lifetime 3.0, which is AI time. Moved to Hong Kong U at the academic side. But just like I said at the beginning of the conversation, I don't think I just move away from industrial practice. I just move toward a center where to bridge both academia and then industrial practice as well. So this is how I look at the three different stage, GE time and Alibaba time, and today in the Hong Kong U time, serve the different purpose. Uh,
Very interesting. So, talking about the universities now, what do you think universities can do more if they really want to prepare students for entrepreneurship and leadership?
Yeah, thank you, Harish, for the questions. I think I can give a little bit unique perspective, not just because currently I'm the professor of practice to teach for different program like a master program, MBA program, and EMBA program, but also I had duty jobs, which is a program director of the customized program for the executive education. So give me the opportunity to connect with the external different companies for their demand, for their needs, how we can better support them and fulfill their learning needs. So from that experiences for the teaching, for the duty part, here is how I look at the Hong Kong U as a unique platform to contribute. So first of all, I think what I appreciate about the Hong Kong U is entrepreneurship is now treated as a slogan. So it is supported through the community, the learning, incubation, funding, and the real ecosystem, the linkage. So you see that from the student-led platforms like the Entrepreneur Society to school level entrepreneurship initiative to university level, the incubation, investor network, and the startup showcase mechanisms. Now, from my own role as a program director of customer executive education, I see Hong Kong Youth support for entrepreneurship in the broader and more practical oriented way. So entrepreneurship is not only about helping students start the companies. It is also about helping leaders and organizations become more entrepreneurial, more opportunity driven, and more innovative, and more agile, and more capable of turning ideas into execution. So I show you one example. So in customized executive education, our work is very close to the market. So the program are tailored to the needs of executives and leaders across the commercial and non-commercial sectors, not just in Hong Kong, but also in Great Bay Area, and increasingly at international scale, with a particular strength in bridging East and the West. So they are designed around real organization challenges, covering areas such as leadership development, digital transformation strategy, fintech, ESG, and business growth. So, what I found distinctive is that these programs are not designed in isolation. So, they are co created directly with the executive responsible for business results. We work with clients to understand their specific needs, diagnose pain points, and then bring together faculty the knowledge, protectional, practitioner insight, and contextual learning design. So in that sense, Hong Kong Youth ecosystem supports entrepreneurship by translating knowledge into the actions. So from my perspective, Hong Kong U support entrepreneurship by serving as a bridge between academia and industry, between ideas and execution, and between local insight and global perspective. So my role in customized executive education is to help leaders and organization cross that bridge more effectively. So thank you, Harris.
This is incredible. Talking about the students, when students think about entrepreneurship, they often picture launching a startup. But can entrepreneurial thinking also exist inside big organizations? So, what does that look like when it is done well?
I think so. In the era of AI time, and things move so fast. So every morning when we wake up, we saw some of the new technology about AI, and we saw some of the new applications. So, but that give us probably two things. Sometimes give us fear, sometimes give us passion. So I used to encourage myself and also to the people around me that the one of the differentiator is in face of such a dynamic, the outside technical change is the one fundamental nature is how we develop more passion rather than the fear to deal with all these changes because I always believe that if we see the life is about 100 if if we look at the life as a 100% and 1% is about what is happening every day and the 99% is about how we react to what is happening of every day and the way how we react will make the true difference and most of the time we react with the power of fear but only the way we can react with the power of passion I think that will make the long term and the sustainable the difference so that would be my first advice and the second just like you said that the big organization versus a small organization, they have different beauty of the power, different beauty of the learning. So do not, my advice, my second advice for students is do not prepare only for a job title. Prepare for this wonderful era. And then the way to prepare is to build three capabilities in the early stage. So number one is to build the ability to learn fast. The number two is to develop the ability to work cross disciplines. The number three is to develop the ability to keep your judgment still matters in a world of increasingly powerful machines or AI. So we how we still remain as a human. Because the winner, I always believe that the winner will not just be the people who use AI tools. So the winner will be the people who know what kind of human being they want to become while using those AI tools. So that is my perspective. Share with you, Harry.
This was incredible, Professor Tan. What a thoughtful conversation from leadership and inner systems to entrepreneurship innovation and what it really takes to grow in uncertain environment. A lot of practical wisdom there for students, founders, and future leaders. Professor Tan, thank you so much for being part of this episode and for sharing your thoughts with us.
Thank you, Harish. These are the wonderful questions. I thank you for inviting me and the privilege to be part of the part of the conversation, and hope my thoughts can make the contribution. Thank you. Looking forward
Yes,
to continue.
definitely. Definitely. It was such a pleasure hosting you today. And to everyone watching, do like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you don't miss our upcoming conversation. See you in the next episode.